So hello, we are going to look at some Diablo 4 talent updates today for the server slam that is coming out today, I guess technically today. We got the Necromancer stuff we're going to get into first. So there's a lot of new updates that have gone through that are being, a lot of stuff got nerfed, a lot of verbiage has changed, so we're just going to go through this. We decided on Wowhead, so Wowhead, we're just going to read through the changes for the Necromancer build tree. And remember, the beta is only going to go to level 20 this time, so I feel like Necromancers and Sorcerers got nerfed a lot. Druids got buffed a bit. Barbarians were kind of hit or miss. Some stuff got nerfed, some stuff got major power boosts. And I have not looked at Rogue yet. I've never really been into Rogues, but we're going to get into that. So if you're here for Necromancer stuff, we're going to go over Necromancer stuff. So I'm just going to read down the list of what you can expect from the Diablo 4 beta this weekend for the server slam, and hopefully you can adjust builds from there. The most important thing to remember is just try stuff out. We're all in the beta, we're stress testing it, we're practicing, we're learning new builds as we go together. So these should be accurate counts. I'm using d4builds.gg for talent calculators. It looks like they have everything updated. If there is some inaccuracies, we will find out today. Wowhead has some great resources. I just tried Icy Veins. Icy Veins is not updated yet. There's also DiabloFans.com that has some too. So, but let's get into the Necromancer changes, what you can expect to see today. So the first thing is Bone Splinters, still a generator for you. It's the generator essence is now 6 instead of 5, so that's a good thing. Gives you an extra essence every time you cast Bone Splinters, which is updated here, generated 6 essence. So better, a little better of a generator there. It does deal a lot less damage. So firing 3 Bone Splinters deals 8% damage. It used to be 22% damage, and each subsequent time an enemy is hit by the same Bone Splinters, you gain an essence. So major reduction there. It's a generator, doesn't do a ton of damage anyway. You're not going to be affected that much, and it gives you an extra generator essence. So really, it's actually a good thing. I would take less damage and more essence any day of the week. Enhanced Bone Splinters. So if we go down the tree a little bit more, we'll just plug 5 in there. Enhanced Bone Splinters is nerfed a little bit, so Bone Splinters has a 25% chance now. It used to be 30% chance to fire 2 additional projectiles if cast while you have 50 or more essence. So again, if you're going with a Bone Splinters build, you really want to stay above that 50 essence threshold as much as you can, cast more spells, get a little bit more projectile damage from there. But now that it's less damage, that might be less effective. We're gonna have to wait and see. The Hemorrhage ability, so if you go down to Hemorrhage, all the way down here, I don't even remember. Oh, it's right there, I'm sorry. Haha. Hemorrhage has got nerfed a bit, so lucky hit chance is now 35%. It used to be 40%, so, and that's going to be max hemorrhage, so you would have to max that out. Lucky hit is going to be, well, that still says 40, so yeah, so that's not updated yet, but lucky hit chance is reduced by 5%. Decompose is another essence generator, so right there is now generates every 7 seconds, which is updated, so every 7 seconds, not 6 seconds, so it's a second longer. I don't really know many people who are running a Decompose build. I think there's other talents that get better corpse generation than Decompose, so typically I've seen people use the Reap and the Bone Splinter path for that. If you do use Decompose, it's a second longer. It's not gonna hit or miss anything. Reap, however, has you can consider this a verbiage or a nerf. So Reap instantly kills enemies below 5%, not just targets. So again, not usable for PvP, I guess, or NPCs if that's in a storyline. It's more of a verbiage change. Blood Surge gets a nerf, so you see that lucky hit percent 20%, that is no longer accurate. It is now 12%. 12% on Blood Surge is how it is. So it looks like this build updated damage percentages and the generators, but not the lucky hit chances. So that's something to keep in mind for using that. Let me move my camera over here too, so you guys can have a clearer view of this. Cool. Moving down the list, Blood Lance is now at a 15 essence cost, so a little bit of a nerf there, and then lucky hit chance is also down at 33%. However, it is increased damage, so throw a Blood Lance that lingers at an enemy for 3 seconds, dealing 67% damage to the enemy and all other lanced enemies. So it costs more, it has less of a hit chance, but it does more damage. So consider that a trade-off. I think that's a good trade-off personally. 5 essence could be a lot if you're running Blood Lance, but again, I don't know too many people who are actually running Blood Lance either in their build, so something to keep in mind when you're looking at stuff. Paranormal Blood Lance also, so you have enhanced and you have supernatural or paranormal Blood Lance. While at least 2 enemies or a boss are affected by Blood Lance, you gain 15% attack speed, and Blood Lance's essence costs are reduced by 3 now instead of 2. So if you go the paranormal route, it reduces essence a little bit. It's not significant enough to take, in my opinion. Bone Spear. So Bone Spear actually got a buff, which is good. So I run a Bone Spear build normally, or at least that's what I'm probably going to be running. I'm probably going to be running a Reap and Bone Spear build, but Bone Spear now does 25% extra damage instead of 10% extra damage. This is good, you guys. This is really good. So I feel like Bone Spear is going to be the way to go, even more so now. Corpse Explosion. Here's the big one. We were all looking forward to not. So we knew this was coming. Corpse Explosion now does 50% damage instead of 75% damage at rank 1, and instead of going up to 90%, it goes up to 70%. So we knew it was going to be nerfed a little bit. Everybody was running Corpse Explosion builds during the first beta, so no longer the case. Plague's Corpse Explosion also got a little bit of a debuff at 8% increased damage instead of 10%. That's fine. 2% is not a big damage deal, but the 25% is. So people will be looking at other stuff going into Diablo 4 Necromancers now, so which is good. Variety is good, so it's still a perfectly viable route to take if you want to go down that tree. It's just people are going to be looking at other stuff. So next, Blood Mist is now a 24-second cooldown instead of 20-second cooldown, and there's verbiage changing to damage to enemies and heal for 0.5 instead of healing. So verbiage change and 4 seconds longer on Blood Mist. If you were running Blood Mist, 4 seconds could be a big hit, depending on how often you're using it. Decrepify is just a verbiage change, so nothing changes with Decrepify. Corpse Tendrils, which is also something I was running. Corpse Tendrils now has a 30% chance to drop a blood orb instead of 20% chance, so that's a good buff. We were definitely running Corpse build in the original, or Corpse Tendril build in the original PTR, so that's actually stronger now at 30%. When damaging enemies also, so it used to be when damaged enemies, I can't even remember. I don't remember honestly. So Blighted Corpse Tendrils when damaging enemies, yeah. So that's updated. That's the same, but higher percentage, which is nice. Golem has a nerf. It's now 17% damage instead of 35% damage. Army of the Dead has a buff, so it is now 63% damage instead of 53% damage. That's good. Blood Wave, 20% damage instead of, or 20% lucky instead of 30% lucky. I never ran Blood Wave. You could if you want to, but 30%. And then finally the passive. So when we get into the passives territory, passives got hit kind of hard. I was surprised by that. There's one buff here, I think, but so your core skills for imperfectly balanced. So your core skills cost 3% more essence, but deal 5% more damage. This was a big hit for the passive. So this is one of the reasons why Necromancers were so overpowered. because of just a passive damage buff. It's just straight core damage. So now instead of 5, 10, 15%, it's now 3, 6, and 9% more essence. So about half, or I guess 2/3 less essence. And then you deal 5, 10, 15% increased damage instead of 10, 20, 30. So that's a straight cut in half. So again, Necromancer is still gonna be powerful. You're still gonna be slinging out a ton of spells, but that hurts. That hurts us a bit. So just keep that in mind when you're going into imperfectly balanced. I would still say it's worth it to take it, but 2/3 and half nerf is a lot. Fueled by Death is now 3, 6, and 9% increased damage for 6 seconds instead of 4, 8, 12% damage for 4 seconds. So a little bit longer of a time frame, but a little less damage. That's a fair trade-off. We'll take it. Skeletal Mage Mastery got a little bit of a buff, so that's cool. So it increases the damage and life of skeletal mages by 20, 40, and 60% instead of 15, 30, 45%. I'll take that. That's a decent buff. Might make mages more viable in the long run. Golem Mastery got a little bit of a buff too. Let me turn that just a little bit. So we have increase the damage and life of your golem by 25, 50, and 75 instead of 15, 30, and 45. So golem is going to be a lot more viable. A lot of people are already running golem. Now more people are going to be running golem. So Bionescence is just a verbiage change, and then Death Defense. So your minions cannot lose more than 75% health. That stays the same. So 75% health was not touched the first tier. Tiers 2 and 3 were changed though. It changed from 50 and 25% to 60 and 45% of their maximum health. So that's a good change. That's a buff as well. So, and Necromancer key passives was just a verbiage change. So when we build out our tree, we're only going to 20 because of this server slam is only going to be level 20 instead of 25 like the previous one. But exciting new changes, you guys. What do you think about what's happening here? Let me know what you build you're going to run to. Are you going to keep the same? Are you going to be doing corpse builds like everybody else? Or are you going to try something new? So let me know what you think, and we will be doing more guide reviews in the future when we get more beta notes out after this weekend. I'll definitely be streaming. I'll definitely be playing it. So follow along, stay in touch, play some builds, do some crazy stuff, and I'll catch you on the flip side. See you later.